MSNBC has dropped the Tiffany Cross weekend show after a nearly 2-year run and
After almost 2 years, MSNBC dropped the Tiffany Cross weekend show, and he sees boss lobbied in circumstances that are at least fascinating. The View host Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin, after Tiffany Cross firing the truth, we are at a point in this country where these folks who neither discovered this country nor built it believe that it is theirs exclusively, and they are throwing fatal temperature, put a finger in my face and yelled, "I've done more for victims than you ever will." Then I said to her some few choice words. Cannot they say what goes around comes around, and that couldn't be truer for one Tiffany Cross, who it appeared has cornered Whoopi Goldberg toward the end of 2022. MSNBC canceled the Cross connection and cut its ties with host Tiffany Cross effective immediately. Cross, whose show aired on weekends, had been with the network for 2 years, but had reportedly clashed with management over segments on her show when her imminent sacking was affected rating performance the most. Common cause of death for television shows was not a factor in MSNBC's decision to pull the plug on the Cross connection, which aired Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. MET. In the first quarter of the year, the show reported a 32% increase in viewership among viewers, 25-54. The primary demographic group that advertisers value. This week, chemical hair straighteners were connected to an increased risk of uterine cancer in Black women, making black hair care a hot topic in the media. Tiffany allegedly reached out to Whoopi when The View was flourishing, but it is claimed that she declined to help Tiff get back on her feet, ultimately losing her spot on the rival network. Now that her turn has come, it is rumored that Whoopi has been seeking help and advice from all corners, including one from Tiffany, the same person she ignored barely 2 years back. Tiffany's show was part of a concerted effort by MSNBC to bring diverse voices to its programming, and Tiffany's show was one of the programs Tiffany ignored. Barely she dared to disregard Tiffany, a fellow TV star as well as a fellow lady. Yet when the show ended, Tiffany's followers were heartbroken, and the majority of them hoped that Whoopi could use her influence to bring her friend back on the air. One upset fan tweeted, "I'm outraged by the news that at MSNBC is ending at Tiffany Cross' brilliant show. Cross #connection. It is the most popular weekend program." Following Tiffany's cancellation, it was also reported that MSNBC's president Rashida Jones visited The View in the hopes of getting some help from the crew will be included, making Tiffany's departure even funnier in light of the fact that it comes after she rightfully criticized white supremacist poster boy Tucker Carlson. While Jones is known for accompanying some MSNBC talent to media appearances, including those on rival networks, the visit to The View nonetheless raised eyebrows in the news industry. It is beyond odd that the head of a rival news operation at a different network would come to The View, it was noted. We've seen a lot of change in the last few years, and I think a lot of it has been driven by how people are consuming content. It seems strange that a top executive from NBC Universal would enter a BC, according to one source with knowledge of the visit. It also became apparent that Jones had a different hot topic in mind, while others were at the show for work. Rashida Jones reportedly approached Whoopi Goldberg for assistance with Tiffany Cross's problem directly after the company executive cruelly fired Cross, but Goldberg allegedly gave her the cold shoulder after that. I'm disappointed to hear that MSNBC decided to cancel the Cross connection at such a vital time, 4 days before the midterm elections, but I assure viewers that my job is not done. Tiffany expressed her disappointment when the cable news station canceled her commentary show, The Cross Connect. On November 4, 2022, a statement was made by Cross. The Cross Connection was consistently MSNBC's most rated weekend program at the time of her firing as a consequence of our conscious focus on elevating problems and voices frequently disregarded by the mainstream media and highlighting communities of color. After the recent racial reckoning, as many have called it, We see that with progress there is always backlash. Now is not the time to retreat to politics or journalism as usual, Tiffany wrote in her statement, acknowledging her surprise that her commentary had fallen short of MSNBC and NBC News and that she had concerns about her statements about hosts at other cable news networks. She added, "I won't stop the attacks on me from other outlets, and former hosts will never have control over my narrative." Although it hasn't been confirmed, there are some claims that Rashida Jones personally approached both Goldberg and Hostin separately and offered up her side of the story in explaining why she let Tiffany go. The fact that Tiffany was never reinstated has led to claims that Whoopi misled Jones when she asked for help regarding the matter. Tiffany thanked her community and fans, as well as her more than 4.6 million monthly viewers, and vowed to see her fans soon. Jones reportedly pulled Hostin aside for a chat in the hallway, during which the MSNBC chief explained that Tiffany was fired because of her problematic tone. Jones then reportedly entered Goldberg's dressing room as she was having makeup applied just before airtime and asked View staffers to leave so that the two could speak in private. "I want to clear something up because you know how things get out and do things I just want to clear up." Several View staff members are reported to have witnessed the interaction. Jones also reportedly wanted the View co-hosts to avoid bringing up Tiffany's dismissal on their Hot Topics segment, where they discussed the most sensational news stories of the day. According to an insider, Tiffany's firing was originally going to be discussed by the View co-host during that show, but other stories were chosen instead. The insider, however, refuted that Jones' presence on set was the cause of Goldberg's reputational problems throughout the years, despite the fact that many people may find satisfaction in her purported unfortunate demise. When Rosie O'Donnell served as the show's second host from 2014 to 2015, she talked openly about her on-camera argument with Whoopi Goldberg. "When touring Sirius and Urban, I saw the Clay Kane show." O'Donnell described one of her heated exchanges with Goldberg, during which they disputed whether or not America was a racist nation with Laverne Cox, Rosie Perez, and Republican commentator Nicole Wallace. Whoopi Goldberg shocked O'Donnell and Cox by saying that the country is not racist. "When she said this, I was like, how do I argue this with her on television? I couldn't believe it came out of her mouth and was shocked every day. It also seemed like whatever I said, even something as simple as yes, this is a racist country," she wanted to refute. "I was confused as to how a black woman in America could be older than me." The Sleepless in Seattle actress also talked about how Goldberg was one of her pals, and that she did not want to quarrel with her.